You know, just when you think that you're going to finally get a quiet day in crypto, you wake up in the morning and then you look at the USDT, the Tether chart, and you see that the Tether chart starts taking the same shape as the UST chart, which was the LUNA stablecoin, which just basically collapsed. This morning when I woke up, I looked at UST, and UST hit a low of 83 cents to $1 on KuCoin in what seems to be potentially another attack or just a bit of panic. Now, we had UST collapse, and if UST collapsed, we saw what happened. It was a major catastrophe. Now we've got some FUD on USDT, and today we're going to talk about USDT and whether this FUD is actually worth paying any attention to, whether it could collapse the crypto market even further, and or whether it's just a whole lot of FUD. We're also going to be looking at LUNA because now we've got another spanner in the works, and that's because Binance has said that they're going to delist LUNA if it goes below 1 cent or half a cent. And you've got LUNA trading at, well, now under 1 cent. So what's the future for LUNA? If you are holding LUNA, is there any kind of future? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Also, do have some good news in this dark cloud. So listen, I know you guys probably don't feel as good, and you don't need to get hyped up. Yo, how is everyone doing out there? It's been a rough couple of days. How you guys doing? Are you guys surviving? Have you guys been wiped out? I've been getting a whole lot of messages from people who have literally been wiped out. I've been getting messages of support. I've been getting love from the Banter fam. It's good to know that we're all in this together, and the wider crypto community is in this together. And you know what we've suffered here has been, it's been something of epic proportions. It's been much bigger than anything that we could have ever imagined. And the reason why I say that is if you think about like probably the biggest collapse that the market saw, I think in the 80s or 90s, you spoke about Enron. And when Enron collapsed, they had $60 billion of assets when Enron collapsed. When you think about like, that was like the biggest collapse of a generation was Enron. I don't remember the exact date. We can Google it in a second. But that was the biggest collapse in a generation. And if you think about the collapse that we've just suffered here in crypto, you're talking about LUNA, which was a market cap of, call it $40 billion. You're talking about UST, which had a market cap of about $20 billion. That's $60 billion. That already makes it, on a dollar for dollar basis, the same as Enron. Now, I know you're going to tell me that $60 billion then is different from $60 billion now. But then you've also got the whole ecosystem around LUNA. So you're talking about Astroport, Mars, you're talking about all those. This is a catastrophe of epic, huge proportions, worldwide proportions. And I think if you're still here and you've made it, well, you're going to make it. You're going to be okay. We're going to make it. We're going to be okay. I also have a guest here today. And you know what the guest is? I'm not going to tell you who the guest is, but you know what the guest is? The guest is just hang in there for 4 more days. Just hang in there for 4 more days. In 4 more days, this shall pass. Yeah, this shall pass in 4 days, apparently. So let's get on with the show. First of all, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe, just like James bought me this bell because I keep forgetting to tell people to hit the notification bell. Hit the notification bell because that's how you know that we're going live. We are going to be going live a few times because I want to do a call-in show for you guys to call in. And let's just chat to the Banter fam and see how everybody's feeling, gauge how everyone's doing. We'll do that sometime soon, but hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you know when that's happening. And call in. Let's just have fun. Let's just talk. I mean, the more of us, the better. All right, let's talk about today's FUD. I mean, you want to call it FUD? Well, let's look at where we are in the market. So you've got, let's just take a quick range check. You've got UST getting close to the peg, USDT getting close to the peg, 98, 99. You have LUNA now firmly under 1 cent. I mean, on Binance, it's under 0.7 cents. Binance says if it gets to under half a cent, it's going to get delisted. There's going to be no more LUNA trading on Binance. That would be a catastrophe because that would dry up all the liquidity. You got Bitcoin, 28,500. I mean, you could say that it's holding up pretty well. I mean, it did have a big decline in the middle of, for me, the middle of the night or early this morning. It went to 26,000. Now back up at 28,381. Feels like we've capitulated, as I said yesterday. The Nasdaq still down today. So you got the Nasdaq down 61 points. Still not looking very good. Not looking very good. You got UST trading at 50 cents. We've got to talk about the future of UST because if you're holding UST, there maybe is some hope for you. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the hope for people actually holding UST. All right. As I said, it does feel like we've capitulated. It does feel like dark. It does feel, I must say, the only time that I've ever felt the crypto markets in such disbelief and such mayhem is actually the day after COVID. So if you go back, let's quickly go back to the COVID days. You can't look at the COVID days on a 15-minute chart, that's for sure. You'll go back a long way before you get there. But yeah, well, where's COVID? You can see it pretty clearly. So I mean, that's where we were on COVID days, and we had a correction from the pre-COVID levels to what was that? That was about a 60% correction, 50% correction that day. That was about a 60% correction that day. But I remember that on that day, even though our portfolios were wrecked, and yeah, indeed, our portfolios were absolutely wrecked, we weren't really that worried about money because we were more worried about our lives. There was like COVID going on, and there was COVID going on, and people were dying and stuff like that. And I think we were all much more worried about stuff like that. Then now you've got this with Bitcoin, and I heard this from CoinDisk. I want you guys to listen to it just because it gives you some kind of perspective. Let's take a listen.
So it is really remarkable in these moments to see how quickly this stuff moves. I was remarking to some reporters today. This feels kind of like that. That was that Black Thursday from March 2020 after the COVID news hit, and the markets just freaked out, and Bitcoin dumped to like 3,000 or something. Right today, I think it feels very similar to that day, where you're watching this market kind of tumble. The biggest victim here is Terra and investors in Terra who are left with great losses. Bitcoin kind of holding steady around 30K, which is maybe notable in its own respect. But
it does. It feels like the days after COVID. Now, there is a little bit more concern ahead on a macro scale, and the concern ahead on a macro scale is if you look at how much Bitcoin has collapsed, and then you compare it to, for example, how much the Nasdaq has collapsed or the S&P has collapsed. The S&P is down like 15 or 16%. And the issue with that is that the Fed is actually going to keep tightening. The Fed is still coming out and saying, look, we're still going to keep tightening. We're still going with our 50 basis points increases in the next couple of meetings. We're still going to reduce the balance sheet by $1 to $2 trillion. We're going to be doing all of that. And what Charlie Bilello, what he says is, it's been a long time since we've seen the Fed not respond to a large stock market decline with easy money, because every time we've had a large stock market decline, the Fed comes in and like chucks money at the stock market decline. Now it's different. Now the Fed's saying, look, the stock market's declining, but we're tightening. And the stock market is not declining as quickly as crypto is declining. So remember that the stock market is declining. We've been tracking the Nasdaq. But then we got the LUNA collapse. And the LUNA collapse is almost, you can say, a catastrophic event for the crypto community. And we're going to spend some time talking about LUNA. And I'm going to show you something that happened last night, which was crazy. And we'll talk about what else is happening. In terms of crypto and capitulation, we had another $1 billion of wiped out, $1 billion liquidated in the last 24 hours, another 300,000 traders wiped out on the markets. you have the US in some kind of positive sign. What you have is, we've probably seen the capitulation of those traders. You also now have the US 10-year continuing to decline. And you'll remember that the US 10-year is a great sign for what the market is going to do next. When the market is convinced that the Fed will not need to act, the US 10-year Treasury yield starts to drop. And you can see that the US 10-year Treasury yield starts to drop. And we're under 3%, we're 2.87%. That's another positive sign. So if you're looking for some rays of sunshine, that's a great ray of sunshine. You also had CNBC coming out again. I'm so skeptical when CNBC coming out. But
Bitcoin earlier this morning touched its lowest level since late 2020, dropping below 26,000. That's the latest milestone in a week that is seeing the cryptocurrency fall more than 20%. So which will come first? More losses or a rebound? Bitcoin 20,000 or Bitcoin 35,000? John Fort, who is like prescient. Pretty good topic for today, John. When did you came up with this? At least yesterday, right? And
Look,
it's very, very timely.
It's got to be fresh, Joe. It's got to be fresh. But I try to watch everything. And listen, it's Bitcoin 35,000. Hear me out. To hit 20,000, I have to drop by 25, 30% from here. And while that's clearly possible, it's unlikely. Why? Well, even though Bitcoin is behaving like a risk asset now, there's a base of owners who believe in the underlying utility of the currency. They're going to continue buying it as the price drops. And once the speculators throw in the towel, the people who owned it for the right reasons will provide more stability. And then there's a strong likelihood that Bitcoin will recover. Easy to forget now, but it lost more than 40% of its value in 2 weeks last year and gained it all back in less than 6 months. Okay, has Bitcoin been overhyped? Sure. It's a long way from being the future of digital money, but it's also holding up better than Dogecoin, which has fallen.
I hate that they compare Bitcoin to Dogecoin. But at least they're starting to talk about the fact that there's a recovery. We're seeing funding. The funding rates have now changed. The funding rates have gone towards a recovery. This is one of the biggest recoveries, the biggest pull downs that we've ever seen from Bitcoin. I think Charlie Bilello said it's down 58% from its peak. Largest decline since the 2017, 2018 market capitulation. You're seeing people capitulate, take their realized losses and decide that they're going to move on. So you can see that from a capitulation point of view, from a realized losses point of view, this is the second biggest time when people are willing to give up. See, so people are willing to give up and say, you know what, I want out. I just want to take my losses. So you are seeing the capitulation signs and people are starting to capitulate. You're seeing it on Twitter. You're seeing people get nasty. You're seeing accounts start to fight with each other. People start to look to blame people for their losses. This guy says he's deleting Twitter, he's deleting Discord and Coinbase for a couple of days because any move that he makes now is going to be negative. People wishing each other well. So my heart goes out to Delphi Digital, and my heart too goes out to Delphi Digital because a group that no one can say deserved this. They were building alongside founders. They invested with conviction. They incubated projects that drive the space forward. If anyone there deserves our support, it's them. I mean, we were probably at Banter, we were in a similar place. We were supporting Luna and we supported Mars and we supported Anchor, but we supported all the protocols as they were building on Luna because we thought it was the most incredible ecosystem when we truly, truly, truly believed in a decentralized form of money. And I guess, well, it all collapsed, and we'll talk about that in a couple of seconds. Jose from Luna says, Delphi says, brutal. Like many others, I lost most of my net worth here. My heart goes out to all the other lunatics who are there hurting. Many much worse than me. If you're feeling down, get off crypto Twitter, go spend some time with friends and people you love. My DMs are open too. We'll do a longer thread next week once I've had some time to reflect on my thoughts. It says also the support has been overwhelming. So on the one side, you're getting people with support. On the other side, you're getting people who believe that nastiness is probably a better thing. Then you've got Solana. So it's not only people that are capitulating, but you got a validator in Solana who had about 1.5%, 6 million Solana staked, shut down, bang, just shut down, left the ecosystem with very little notice. And so that brought a whole lot of Solana onto the market, and that basically killed Solana or hit Solana very hard on the market. So that's kind of where we are today. But the good news is that I have a guest that says that this may actually end, and it may actually end in like 4 days. Like there's just 4 days. If you can hang in there for 4 more days, if you can hang in there until May 16th, then this will all be finished. This will all be over. I'm going to bring her on now. I think you guys know who she is. You guys love her. Welcome, Maren. Welcome. Nice to
Hey.
meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Wow. Please tell me that this is going to be over in 4 days.
This can't go on forever, and I do expect this to bottom out and for this craziness to end in 4 days. That does not mean like suddenly up only or anything like that, but I mean, this can only extend for so long. Like these things will end, things will be abandoned or moving on elsewhere. So yeah, 4 days is when I do expect this to soften up.
Okay, tell me why. Tell me why this is happening and why this is going to change. And I must say, you called it. You called it last year, January 23rd, 2021. You said, watch out for May 16th and July 25th. And then you called it again and you said May 10th and October 28th. And that was a tweet from January. So, I mean, no one can say that you altered your tweets. You called this in January. What is it? Tell me, what is it that made you call this?
So I track astrology, for those who don't know, as I track planetary cycles in correlation with world events, specifically financial markets. And the period of May until July of last year, the planet Jupiter was in the sign of Pisces, where it did the exact day that it entered and exited, May 16th and then July 25th. That was the down market period of the summer. And Jupiter has been in Pisces since December 4th, 2021, and it left May 10th, 2022. So this down market period, technically in that area, has come to a close, but there's an extended period of it looking worse before it gets better because of a lunar eclipse happening on the 15th that looks like horrendous. Like I've been saying, like first 2 weeks of May look horrendous. So even though one aspect has ended on May 10th, there's one more hurdle that looks pretty intense to get through as we've led up to it on May 15th. And from that, I think that we will find a bottom because even like no matter how hard it gets, financial markets revert to the mean. And this does not mean that we have the liquidity or the support or the retail sentiment and geopolitical dynamics that will support a bull run like we had in 2020 or 2021. However, this literally cannot go on forever. And the May 10th to 15th period has had so much of a shift that I've been looking to for a while that it looks pretty difficult going into the 16th. However, the correlations, not the causation. I'm not saying planets are causing this. I am in no way saying that I'm tracking this similar to other people tracking any other world cycle. Things do shift 16th onward. I see stabilization. I want to be clear. I do not see anything that could provide. I'm not trying to like provide cope or anything. I don't think that the summer anything's going to be similar to the May 2020. I'm sorry, the 2020 bull run or the late 2021 rebound that we saw. However, things should stabilize second half of the month.
Wow. Okay. When do you see things getting good? Did the planets ever tell you when things are going to be good? Because they certainly tell you when things are going to be bad. And you told us when it's going to be stable again. But is there like a time where like things are going to be good, like fun, bull market, good energy?
If I'm honest, I haven't looked further than 2022 just simply because this period had so much going on that I was looking to that this is the majority of my focus. I do think that 2023 has some things that are redeeming. I don't want to make any promises because I have to back test. Like I like to be really sure of what I say before I say it when I've tested that alignment back in Bitcoin's history primarily for several years. But I think that this summer should stabilize a little bit. End of the year does not look good again. And then 2023 has some redeeming qualities.
Carl, do you agree with that? Because I see you nodding. I see Carl. Hold on, Carl here. My is nodding. Tell me what you see, Carl.
No, I don't. I just see the moon cycles on the 1 day chart. That's all I see. I don't know.
You watch the moon cycles on the 1 day chart, and it works.
Yeah, that's as far as my astrology goes. I did see that from Maren though. That's where I found it.
It's on TradingView. It's a really helpful tool.
I think it's called moon phases, right?
Yes, it is.
It's like an 80% hit rate.
Oh,
I told Ram to sell ages ago with the moon cycle. He didn't listen.
Oh, I wish I'd listened. I wish I'd listened. Maren, thank you. Please keep us updated.
Will do. Thank you for having me.
If you see something that we need to know about, let us know.
Will do.
Thank you. Nice to see you again. All right, so that's Maren, and she says this all gets. Stop smiling, bro. You see, I get Maren on the screen. You smile. You start blushing. I mean, what's going on here, man? Carl, I've never seen you red, bro. You're more red than a shirt. It's a reflection of Maren's shirt on the screen. All right, let's talk about the FUD of the day. Let's get to the FUD of the day. The FUD of the day is this, which happened earlier today. Let me show it to you guys so that you can see it here. So the FUD is when USDT, so UST collapsed, and that sent shockwaves down the market, and there were fears that maybe USDT Tether was actually next. And the reason for this is because everyone knows that Tether hasn't had an audit yet. They won't subject themselves to an audit. The best thing that they do is they do what's called an attestation. So an attestation is like, it's when an auditor looks at your stuff and he doesn't really audit it, but he just attests to the fact that he believes that this may be correct. And in that attestation, in the last attestation, they broke down the transparency of the assets. And in breaking down the transparency of the assets, what you see here is that cash and cash equivalents and other short-term deposits and commercial paper make up 83.74% of the reserves that are supposed to back Tether 1-to-1. Now, think about that. 83.74% is in cash, cash equivalents, short-term deposits, and commercial paper. But we all know what's been happening to commercial paper. Commercial paper has been dropping. The value of commercial paper has been dropping, which could have meant that the assets that back Tether no longer back Tether 1-to-1. And that's where the concern came this morning. There was FUD after everybody saw the collapse. This was serious FUD. I mean, when you've got Tether going down to 83 on KuCoin, that's quite serious FUD. I don't think it was as bad on Coinbase. I think on Coinbase, it touched 95. Either way, not a good sign. I did speak to Paolo Arduino from Tether earlier today, and he said, look, there's nothing to worry about with Tether. And he did also tweet that Tether was redeeming at the rate of $300 million a day, and he said it was doing it without even breaking a sweat. So that's that. And I do think, to be honest, that there's not much to worry about Tether. He also said that Tether was less exposed to commercial paper in the last 6 months. So that's what he said a few days ago. So that is what happened today. People were moving into USDC and BUSD. Those were trading at like 105, 108. So if you wanted to buy $1 worth of BUSD, you had to use 108 or 108 worth of Tether. And that sent the market down, sent shockwaves down the market. And this has happened before. It happened in 2017 when Tether was the only stable coin on the market, or the only used stable coin on the market. And Tether lost its peg, and it actually took weeks to get the peg. It took 3 weeks in 2008 for Tether to regain its peg from the FUD of 2008. Today, you've got many other options, and you've got BUSD, and you've got TUSD, and you've got USDC. And so today, you've got many, many, many other options. But I do think, to be honest, with the research that I've done, I do think that USDT is actually much safer now than it was back then. I think El Capo, he's one of the most negative people. So if he's negative, you need to be negative. I'm not worried about the USDT peg. It's happened many times before, especially in important time pivots. So pretty much nothing to worry about there. That's what I think. All right, let's go talk about Luna, because everyone wants to talk about Luna. First thing is I've got to tell you a story, because when you hear the story, you'll feel maybe like I felt. So I get home last night after the show. We spoke on the show about the theory that maybe Ken Griffin and Citadel knocked down the price of borrowed Bitcoin, knocked down the price of UST, shorted Bitcoin, and sent this whole thing into a spiral. You'll remember that, right? You'll remember that little spiral. When I get home last night, I get home to a email which says, "Hi, Ran, please call me. I'm available anytime on my mobile." Signed, I'm not going to give the guys a name, but signed someone and from Citadel. So now I've got this email in my inbox from Citadel. So I'm thinking to myself, look, Citadel aren't phoning me because they know I've got money, because if they watch Luna, they'll know that I've got a lot less money today than I had yesterday. So I tell my wife, hold on a second, hold the kids. I want to go and I want to phone this guy and see what he actually wants. So I phone the guy. I say, hey, this is Ryan speaking. What can I do for you? He says, yeah, I just want you to know that Citadel does not trade in stablecoins. In fact, he said Citadel Securities does not trade stablecoins, including UST. And then we've got absolutely no involvement in this UST USDT debacle. And yeah, that's what he said. He said, even though this is speculation, and we would appreciate it if you could clarify it on the show. So here I am. I did offer him to come on the show and clarify it. He said he couldn't make it. He said he had some prior commitments, but I mean, that's the message that Citadel gave us. So they are denouncing any part of being involved in the bringing down of UST and UST and Luna and everything else. So let's talk about where we are with Luna, because let's talk about where that is. So they have started to put together a whole lot of emergency mechanism to try and restore the peg. So they're fighting very, very, very hard to restore the peg. What they're doing is they got to get all the UST out of circulation. They've got to try and get all the UST out of circulation. They've got to let all the selling happen. And they pretty much got to get to a point where there's no more UST in circulation and then kind of start again. That's more or less what needs to happen. And so yesterday, Terra Money did a whole lot of, they made a proposal. We'll talk about the proposal, but they also burnt the remaining UST in the community pool. They burnt another 371 million UST on Ethereum. They TFL staked 240 million Luna to defend the network from governance attacks. So they really are defending the network and trying to get the bleed to stop. Let's quickly just look at what the bleed looks like now. Okay, so Luna's now at 0.5%. Crazy. Never seen anything like that. You've got UST now at 41 cents. And that's, I think, because of the threat of being delisted off exchanges. So it's been hovering here the whole time. You also have, so let's go back to that so we can just quickly find all of those things. Okay, then you had another proposal from Luna to speed up the burn. So what the problem is that the amount of UST that could be burnt every single day back into Luna was limited. And if they carried on with this, it would have taken something like 50 days to get all the UST out of circulation. So they've made a proposal yesterday to increase the burn by a factor of 4x. So instead of burning $293 million worth, they can now burn $1.2 billion worth. $1.2 billion worth. And so they're now in a position where they can mint much more. The problem is that they are diluting the amount of Luna in circulation. So I'll show you this. I think I should have it somewhere. I should have a dashboard. Here we go. If you look at the supply of the circulating supply of Luna, it's gone up from 91 million a couple of days ago. Now there's 8.53 billion Luna in circulation. Just think about what that means. It means there's so many Luna in circulation that, you know, even if the project survives and you are holding Luna, you got this token with like, you're gonna have a circulating supply of 12, 13, 14, I don't know what the number ends, how the number ends here, billion tokens. And you've got like one of those tokens. So chances are that if you're holding Luna, it's gonna be very, very small chance that you're gonna see much of your investment back. You're also getting, you also had a proposal from them to in this proposal to mint more. What they said here, they said something very interesting. They said this. They said even LFG has, I think they meant even though LFG has $3.5 billion in capital in Bitcoin, current value probably much less because the price of Bitcoin has gone down. So what they are insinuating here is that the project actually still has $8.5 billion in Bitcoin. Oh, sorry, not 8.5, $3.5 billion in Bitcoin. Now, if they're right, you've got a stablecoin protocol which has, maybe the price of Bitcoin's gone from, I don't know, 45,000 to 30,000 or whatever it is, but you could have $2 billion in Bitcoin sitting in this protocol. So it might not be all that bad. It might be that they still have, no one has come out and said, look, we lent the market makers a certain amount of money, and we've got a certain amount of money back. No one's done that yet. So they could have $2 billion in Bitcoin, and that, to be honest, if they do have even $1 billion, even $500 million, that's an unbelievable runway to start a new project or to try and salvage the project. So on the one hand, you may be drowning in tokens right now, as I showed you. You may be drowning in tokens, the 8.6 billion tokens in circulation. I see the LUNA price, the UST price is 40 cents again. But they may have $2 billion or $1.5 billion, and they may use that $1.5 or $2 billion to bring back the peg. As I said to you earlier, Binance said if it goes under 1 cent, they're going to proceed to delist. I think they then changed it to say half a cent. So let's see what happens. I think let's quickly have a look here. Okay, it's pretty much there or thereabout, that half a cent. It's pretty much there. We also found out that, or there's speculation, that Do Kwon was involved in another project called Basis Cash, which ironically, I didn't know Do Kwon back in the time, but I actually invested in Basis Cash quite early. And Basis Cash was one of those projects where eventually they pulled the plug. So he started the stablecoin project and he pulled the plug, or they pulled the plug because they thought there's no ways that the regulators were actually going to do this. And there is speculation because Basis Cash was done by an anonymous team, and they used to call themselves Rick and Morty. The founders used to call themselves Rick and Morty. And crazy that in crypto days, we send millions of dollars to a protocol where we have no idea who the founders are. We call them Rick and Morty. Can you just think about what that actually means? Anyway, yeah. So the question is whether Do Kwon should have disclosed it. I mean, I guess what you have to ask yourself is if you would have known that Do Kwon was part of Basis Protocol, would you have invested in Luna? That's the question. If the answer is that you would have invested anyway, then you probably shouldn't have disclosed it. Yeah, that's where we are with Luna. So I guess if you're holding it now, it's probably pointless to sell it. I wouldn't buy it now. I mean, I think it's probably dead.
Yeah, it's almost at 0-0.
It's almost at 0-0. But I mean, they might have $1 billion. They might have $1 billion. They might have $2 billion. And if they do have $2 billion, then I mean that's something. You got to do something. Or maybe what they could do is they could take. No, it wouldn't work. Saying take the Luna holders and make them whole, but no.
Maybe they'll do like an airdrop in the future or something.
Nah, they wouldn't give away money. They would rather be serial founders. They wouldn't even give away money. Come on.
Just an NFT.
Yeah. An NFT. Who needs an NFT? All right, let's talk about some other things. So some positive things on the horizon. Grayscale went and met with the SEC. Grayscale finally went and met with the SEC around converting their Grayscale product to become an ETF. Apparently, they are making a lot of money. What they did highlight to the SEC was that the minute they did that, they would unlock $8 billion. Now, that $8 billion represents the premium or the discount that GBTC is trading at. So right now, GBTC is trading at a 25% discount to the net asset value of the fund. And there we go. So you've got, they did have the meeting with the SEC. Also, we had the Australian ETF, which was supposed to launch in April 27th. It finally launched today. I think the last time I checked, it had a million Aussie dollars deposited into it, which just kind of shows you that right now everyone is in peak fear. And I know it feels uncomfortable. I know it feels crazy. I know a lot of people are questioning their conviction in Bitcoin and in everything else. But every time that I've seen this peak fear, the people that have had conviction and have stuck it out and have held it and continue to dollar cost average and buy the lows and whatever else, they've always come out better for it. Even the people that bought it at the peak of COVID are still up like 8, 9, 10x on the investment. So hopefully this is the end of the capitulation cycle. I hope so. I hope it is. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking. Also, I know today's quite a tough day for everyone. So figure today what we'll do is we'll do some chats, super chats. If you guys are here, if you want to just mention something, if you want to ask any questions, here we are, here I am. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, let's do it. Let's get some up here. How much will Solana go down? Man, no one can tell you how fast how much more the market's going to go down. You got to now ask yourself whether you truly believe in the technology that is Solana, whether you truly believe in the fact that people are going to build on it. And if yes, then this is a great time to buy. And if not, then you got to go. You got to list it. What happens if you're holding Luna when it gets delisted? You're going to have to find an exchange that does trade it. I think FTX will be one of those. People are asking, still buy Arweave? I mean, yeah, I think Arweave is a great protocol. I think it's going to be here for a long time. And I think if the market recovers, when the market recovers, Arweave is going to be one of the best tokens to hold. Let's see, what other questions are there? Just if I miss super chats, just let me do it. Just let me know. Tomb, I must say, Tomb, I didn't check Tomb, Let's quickly check it. I know it went very close to zero. I think when the whole thing collapsed, I watched the thing go very close to zero. Try to get hold of Harry, but he hasn't actually responded. 7 cents. Wow. Wow. What's TShare trading at? Wow. I mean, look, people who were buying TShares can't complain because they were printing money at 6,000% per year. I think the next bull run is not going to be about high yielding. I think we've had the bull run of high yields. The high yield bull run is now finished. The high staking rewards bull run is now finished. I think there's going to be a different kind of bull run, a very, very different kind of bull market. Render, my view on render hasn't changed. I think the metaverse is still going to have to be rendered. And I think that render is going to be the protocol to render the metaverse. I think the thesis for me hasn't changed. I haven't sold a single render, nothing. Let's have a look here. How do we adjust our portfolios? So as I said to you before, I think you've got to have, the strategy always remains the same. You've got to have the majority, 50%, 30%, 40% in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what we called our HODL portfolio. Then you've got to have a big section in the stuff that can do 10x. And then you've got to have a very small portion of your portfolio in the stuff that can do 100x. The strategy never changes. You may need to rebalance your portfolios now because things have shifted. Buy things with conviction. Buy things with conviction. Let's see. People asking about render. I think we've spoken about render. Well, we got Luna. Look, we've got a lot of Luna staked in validator nodes. I don't know what happens to those. I mean, we have to wait for them to release themselves in 21 days and then see what happens. I guess that's pretty much the next step. But again, I think even if we get them, they're worth zero. I think, to be honest, I think the ledger or Trezor that I store my Luna on is probably worth more within the actual hardware is probably worth more than the Luna on the hardware. Will you continue the shelves? Of course. Crypto is here to stay. Banter is here to stay. We're going to keep building. We're going to keep building. I want to show you something actually. While we're talking about it, we keep building. We keep building crypto school. Let me show you how amazing our crypto school is actually looking. Super, super, super excited to bring more people into crypto, not only for free, but to actually get paid to learn. Watch this. Watch this.
People are becoming somewhat aware that the present monetary system is not really satisfactory. That we will have to consider very fundamental reform. See, the great trouble is the money wasn't allowed to develop further. After 200 or 300 years of coins, all governments put their hands and stopped any further developments. We were not allowed to experiment on it. Money hasn't been improved. Money has rather become worse in the course of time. I don't believe that we should ever have a good money again before we take the thing out of the hands of government. Then we can't take them violently out of the hands of government. All we can do is, by some sly roundabout way, introduce something they can't stop.
I think that the internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of government. The one thing that's missing, but that will soon be developed, is a reliable eCash, a method whereby on the internet you can transfer funds from A to B without A knowing B or B knowing A.
It's impossible to be shut down. That's the beautiful thing about it. There is no Bitcoin place. You can't shoot Bitcoin.
For the first time now in human history, people everywhere can trust each other and transact peer-to-peer. So Wall Street and all around the world, the financial industry is in a big upheaval about this, wondering, can we be replaced?
Banks will become less and less relevant, just like landline telephones are becoming less and less relevant. And we're going to wake up one day and we're going to be in charge of our own money.
In 2008, stock markets around the world suffered one of the biggest financial meltdowns of our generation.
The stock market is now down 21%.
Because we're now down 40%.
The highly inflated US housing market collapsed, and with it, so too did the entire financial system. Banks, pension funds, and even insurance companies were wiped out, and millions of people lost their homes and their jobs. To prevent the total collapse of economies worldwide, central banks and governments were forced to print money from thin air, enormous amounts to bail out the banks and other financial institutions. In the midst of this financial meltdown, a person or entity using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, sent a mail introducing Bitcoin to the world. The mail was titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. In this simple mail, Satoshi birthed the world's first decentralized network of money, owned and run by the people, for the people. To this day, Satoshi's true identity remains a mystery.
Yeah, Yuri, that's my voice, and that's Crypto School. That's just giving you one idea, one thing about why we're still so excited. We're going to be here for a long time. We've got to bring in 1 million people into crypto using Crypto School. So we're definitely going to be here. We're going to keep building. Crypto is going to be here. You guys are all going to be here, and we're going to keep going together. Trust me, I've seen this stuff before, and we always recover, and we always recover stronger. And Bitcoin always hits new all-time highs. It's just, that's what happens. So I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but you just got to trust the process and just let it happen. And if you can, just keep dollar cost averaging. Just dollar cost average. Anyway, if you haven't been on our BBS today, remember we are the biggest crypto BBS in the world. Stuff breaks there very, very quickly. The first time I heard about the USDT Peg, UST broken below the peg, was on BBS. So that was the one post that I saw there today. Make sure that you on the BBS. Remember, on the BBS, every time that you do a post, the post is an NFT, and people can buy the post. So, for example, this post over here, which is a very funny post, which is it's an analysis, but it's a very funny post the way the guy does it. It was purchased for $33. It's generated $8 worth of income already. So that is that's on the BBS. There's also daily updates on BBS, which are being dropped every single day. That post was purchased for $19.95, already generated $2 worth of income. So if you're not on BBS, get onto BBS, because you can make money for just posting stuff. Listen, I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big Friday banter. Okay, tomorrow, Jordy Alexander, because he's like the macro dude. Then we've got Alex Mashinsky, and I want to talk to Alex Mashinsky because they were exposed with Celsius to UST. And then I've got James from Invest Answers also coming on the stream tomorrow. So tomorrow, Friday Banter is going to be absolutely insane. Also, tomorrow I'm going to be on DCA, which is with Benjamin Cowan, with Invest Answers, and I don't know who the fourth one is. I don't know if it's going to be CTO Larson or one of the other guys, but tomorrow I'm going to be on that channel as well. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. Remember that we're going to start. I didn't want to do Bybit giveaways this week. I just thought it wasn't reasonable. But I think we've got to start doing. We've got to start 10.
People need it now.
Now, if ever, people need 10xing their portfolios. How it works, very simple. There's a Bybit referral link below. You click the referral link. You sign up. You put money into your account. You don't need to trade. You don't need to buy anything. And you do that, and we will 10x your portfolio. We can 2x your portfolio, even 100x your portfolio. So it might be worth doing that. Also, I did make a purchase today. I did buy Bitcoin. It felt super uncomfortable, really stupidly, ridiculously uncomfortable. Let me show you. I don't know if my account's open here. If it okay, so I don't even know if I still have cash. Or is it? I think it's all in Bitcoin. It's all in Bitcoin. All of it is in Bitcoin. Yeah, it's all in Bitcoin. So I've been DCAing. I've accumulated 21 Bitcoin in this account from DCAing. And I'm going to continue to just hold. I'm not doing anything. I'm just holding those Bitcoin. All right, guys, I will see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, be well, stay safe, and be nice to each other. I know everyone's getting salty on Twitter. Everyone's looking to blame everyone else for their losses. Just be nice to each other. See you guys again tomorrow.